Following a bye week, the Huskers journeyed west to face new Big Ten member USC. Nebraska looked to snap their 3-game losing streak, and the Big Red couldn't ask for a better start to the day.
Wing to the near side, snap back. Has some time, steps, throws down the field, the pass is intercepted, picked off by Sierra Wright to the 30, 25, 20, Sierra down the near sideline, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick 6 for Nebraska, and the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
The momentum was on the side of NU, but USC slowly claimed it for themselves. At halftime, the score was tied at 14. At the end of the third quarter, the Huskers trailed by 1 point, 21-20, and with 10 minutes remaining in the fourth, USC embarked on a back-breaking 13-play, 84-yard touchdown drive, stretching their lead to 28-20. Nebraska got the ball back on offense with 2:45 to play and attempted one last desperation drive.
Snap back. Final play of the game. Dylan Stetz throws toward the end zone. The ball's in the air. It's intercepted in the end zone by USC. Picked off by the Trojans, and that will end the game. And USC has beaten Nebraska today, 28-20.
Yet another devastating loss for NU, their 4th in a row. Despite the frustrating defeat, Matt Rule was not going to start feeling sorry for himself or the team.
That's the worst thing that could happen is if I start feeling snake bit. I feel like I've been entrusted to coach the program, and I'm trying to help us break through. And you know, anytime you break through, you punch something, you want it just to open up, but you just keep punching until finally it breaks, right? And so, they made some plays. They're great playmakers, and we'll continue to work.
Next up for the Big Red is a home matchup with the Wisconsin Badgers. It's the final game in Memorial Stadium this season for the Huskers, and the seniors will be honored on the field today. Both Nebraska and Wisconsin enter with 5 wins and 5 losses. The Badgers have dominated the series of late, winning 10 in a row against Nebraska. The Huskers will attempt to snap that streak today as they find themselves once again in a desperate position to pick up their 6th victory of the season.
We don't like them, they don't like us. It's just how it is. But this game and the next game always mean a lot more to this place than most other games do. But it doesn't matter who it's against. I mean, we're just trying to get that win. We're just trying to get a win. Just trying to win out. We're just trying to get on the right path for next year. And so I think definitely against a team like Wisconsin, it'll be huge for us.
All football players remember the last time they get a chance to step in front of the home crowd. It's important that the young guys understand that this is their last go in Memorial. So we made sure that we told them that one day they're going to be the old guys, and they hope that the guys after them play their butts off for them. And so we'll see. I know they're going to be excited to play.
They're nothing short but a special group. I couldn't be more thankful for them. Kind of inviting me in, and all of the young guys, and kind of letting us, do our thing, and while they do theirs. So, yeah, I think their leadership has been tremendous. They've done a really good job of kind of showing us the ropes and showing us what it looks like. So I think for the most part, we're here where we are in the season because of the tremendous leadership they have and impact they have on the younger guys in the program.
I certainly would love to end their career not just with a win, but with them being the ones who break through. So I want them to be able to walk off the field with their, heads held high, knowing that they got it done. I do think there's something special for the guys who were there for 4 years, for 5 years, for 6 years. I just absolutely love and respect these guys, and the success we will have will be built off their backs and the backs of the guys before and the backs of the guys before. So that's why this week's a really, really important week for me. There's kids that love this place, that this will be the last day they put their pads on and go out there. So that's why, for me, this is one of the biggest weeks of my coaching career, because I want to honor all those kids.
Live from the Huskers Radio Network, this is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. Husker Game Day is also brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Now, here's your host, Ben McLaughlin.
It's a no-love-loss type of weekend for Nebraska athletics, and it's no different today on the gridiron with Nebraska football taking on the Wisconsin Badgers, a team that has been a thorn in the side of the Big Red since joining the league, but the Huskers still have their sights set in on their 6th win in bowl eligibility. Senior day for Nebraska football here as well. A final home game of the season. Feels weird to say that here already, but that's what's in front of Matt Rule's Huskers here this afternoon at Memorial Stadium. Good late morning to you. Ben McLaughlin joined as always by Husker color analyst Damon Benning. DB, it's been an interesting week. I think this time of year, we inch closer to Thanksgiving, and whether it be the last game of the regular season on the schedule or the second to last game with the senior day. But, man, I feel like you and I have been talking about urgency a ton the last few weeks, and we're just ripping pages off the calendar. Just seemed like yesterday we were sitting here wondering what year number 2 under Coach Rule would have in front of us.
Yeah, that's about right. I felt like when we were 5-1, we said, oh, my gosh, like we've got some chances. And then at 5-3, we're like, we still got chances. And then at 5-5, we're thinking we have fewer chances. I think the good thing, though, is these guys, the messaging has to be all week, even with senior day and kind of what's going on with them is, you know what? One game at a time, regardless of how few are left. But even more of a narrow scope, B-Mac, one play at a time. Don't worry about what Wisconsin's coming in here with or what their psyche is. I've been saying all week, just mind your own business. You guys just do you to the best of your ability, because if you guys can make this about football, you got a super chance to win today.
Yeah, and I think, and it's weird to say positive momentum after a loss. I don't know that you could ever really feel that, but I feel like it's almost been the same mentality that Nebraska had last week against SC, in that, this is something that I discussed a week ago in LA was, Nebraska and SC, you see those two helmets next to each other, and you're thinking Marcus Allen, Johnny Rogers, and all the pageantry, but there really wasn't any of that because of where the two teams were, and that was different, and I think it's maybe trumped that this week. There isn't much talk about the rivalry. There's talk about what's going on between the walls in Madison, and there's certainly
a lot of black couch moments, right?
And we're still certainly not spending a bunch of time worrying about what's going on in Madison. We've got our own stuff to kind of look at and figure out. So that to me is where we're at with this matchup. It seems a little weird that that's where we are.
Yeah, and I think the team that can filter that out the fastest or the quickest will be the team that I think we'll see have success, right? I'm not typically a start fast or, get out in front kind of guy, but I think the team that does start the quickest, I do think we'll have a clear-cut advantage.
And I do feel like I used positive momentum. What happened on the hardwood last night? I feel like the fans are going to bring maybe a little more juice and maybe a little bit more excited to wake up and cheer on a team in red today after what happened last night. Yeah,
absolutely. There's a definite energy outside the stadium kind of walking to the studio. And I was surprised that there were so many people here so early. And I'm thinking, okay, because I do think it's kind of a quiet challenge is to the fan base and say, hey, listen, you know what, the guys need you today. Maybe now more than ever. And I know you've given it everything you've got, and you feel like it's a Charlie Brown, Lucy moment. But man, can you just like you're asking of your team, can you sum it up one good time? Can you sum it up one more good time?
It's hard, when we have narrowed the focus to focus on what's in front of you, play one play at a time. It can be hard to broaden it up and understand for a lot of very impactful players of this program. This is going to be the last time they run out on the field at Memorial Stadium. At one point in time, do those emotions weigh in? Is it the night before at the hotel? Is it when you're standing in your locker one more time? Is it when you hear that serious music play one last time? I mean, I'm sure for everybody it's maybe a little bit different, but when does that part play in? And then more importantly, when does that part wear off?
Yeah, I think when you're in the tunnel is when it's at its apex. But it probably started yesterday, because now it's when you get within 24 hours, you realize it's the last time you're going to do it, right? This is the last time, and then fill in the blank. This is the last time, then fill in the blank. And this is the last time, and fill in the blank. And as you get closer and closer, you run out of things to say. And then all of a sudden the emotions hit. And so I think the quicker that they can manage that and understand that there's still a task at hand, and if you want to stay together, at least a couple more shots, a win today go a long way in helping you stay together as long as you possibly can.
Well, and I was going to go there next because a lot of the guys that are going to be waiting in the tunnel to hear their name called with their friends and family at Memorial Stadium, these are the guys that made the decision to come back and to try and get this thing moved forward as a program. And that's been a tougher boulder to move than I think maybe they expected. But I kind of feel like it's going to bring them back to the moment and that this is what they came back for. It's to me, it's almost a full circle moment. We all saw the videos in the offseason of Isaac Gifford and Marquise Buford and some of the leaders of this team addressing the team. And to speaking of Giff specifically, talking about why he came back.
Yeah.
And I feel like at some point in this process, he's going to realize, like, this is it. Like, back then, you're sitting here trying to forecast. You go through media days, and you're trying to project what your season's going to look like. Well, this is what it looks like. So this is exactly the moment that you came back for, is taking that step forward right now.
Yeah. The team, I think the guys that can compartmentalize the best will put themselves in position to have success, because it's been a little dangerous is maybe too strong of a word, but we've heard this kind of old guys and new guys and seniors, and we have to play better, and depending on your level of security, or should I say maybe insecurity, it can impact you differently. At the end of the day, you got to flush all of it and just simply ask yourself, we've said this for probably 3 weeks in a row, you got to go back to the accountability thing. What can I as an individual do differently to help change the outcome? What role can I play to help get the desired outcome I want? That's what each guy's got to ask himself.
And I'm wondering about that. That was something I wanted to ask you this week, because that is something we've talked about a lot. And it's more than just Saturdays. It's more than just making the catch when I'm running my route, or it's beating a double team, or it's wrapping up a form tackle on 3rd and 8. Whatever it is, it's got to start earlier than that. So when they're processing in real time the day-by-day aspect of it, what does that look like in terms of practice structure, film, game plan, schematics, all that type of stuff to go into doing your part to help the team win on Saturday?
Well, I think it's just the going over again and again of what the protocol was. How did we get here? Like, what's been the methodology? How are we supposed to attack Mondays? How are we supposed to attack Tuesdays? How are we supposed to attack Wednesdays? All right, it's this drill in this moment. Win this drill. And I think one thing, this is going to sound a little, it's not hokey, but it's what I think this team needs. When you're looking for a superpower, and sometimes it's not always physical, sometimes it's your superpower going into competitive battles is how you feel about one another. I think one of the great misnomers about some of these juggernaut teams that we had in the 90s was that it was all about toughness and competitive edge. And that was only part of it. The real superpower was love. And it was the love of one another, the love of being in the moment, the love of the competition, the love for the university. And it's always going to win. So if I'm those guys and you're on this kind of emotional roller coaster that they've had this week, this season, today, it's going to be all about the guy next to you. It's not some coaching cliche. It really is, because when it hits the fan and you're looking at 10 straight losses in a row and you don't want any of that ownership because you want this moment right now, it's a lot easier to shift focus to the guy next to you than it is to keep checking the rearview mirror. They got to think about the guys that they're playing with. That's what this is going to come down to.
You've said 2 words here in this segment that I think are really resonating with me, and I think maybe hold true this week, maybe more than all others: compartmentalize and competition. Yeah. Because there is emotion. Like, you're not human if you're not feeling emotion this week, if you're an upperclassman, or you're transferring at the end of the week, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you got to strap up and put your pads on and go play. Yeah. And I feel like at a certain point, and we'll hear from Coach Holgorsen in our next segment, because I think he kind of stole the show for the second week in a row.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, being the mouthpiece, I think, for a lot of the fans this week. But to me, that's what it is, right? Like, hearing from him and hearing from some of the other coaches, it's like, yeah, we're talking about this culture and this building and all that, but we got to go compete.
Yep.
You got to go play.
100%. Play ball. Play ball. It's a great game, and you know, I always joke, it's one of the few things that if you feel like you have problems or some issues, you can solve it with aggression, and it's A-okay. And I think that's one of those things that those guys will have to focus on today.
How much does seeing a W on a helmet this week help the nicks and the bruises and just the slow, methodical process of preparing for a game?
Should narrow your focus quite a bit, right? And then it's like it's an automatic trigger mechanism. And maybe we'll see that W conjure up some feelings that Nebraska wasn't sure that they had or they haven't had in a long time when they were seeing Colorado and the likes of those bunch. This is a team that doesn't think much of you. They took the blueprint of your program and doubled down on it and have had more success with it than you have. Oh, there's plenty. If you want to manufacture a chip on your shoulder, there is plenty that Badger team will bring to the table.
I feel like a lot of people, when they look at this game, and you looked at, and I think Wisconsin probably feels the same way with how their game went with the Ducks last week at night at Camp Randall. A lot of people are probably thinking this is a race to 14 today or 17 or whatever your number is. But I feel like both teams were almost snake bit in the sense that they both got that fast start that you're looking for. You know, Wisconsin jumped out in front. We get the pick six from Sierre and kind of just holding off, it felt like, from there. But I kind of feel like today it's in a game that I'm expecting to be a rock fight. Who can absorb the most throws of the rocks from the other team the longest before, you know, you take over the game?
Yeah, it's not going to be always pretty. And I think that's one of those things that, I mean, that's a good point, right? Where, you know, at some point it's going to get a little messy and it's not going to go your way and it's going to look a little gloomy. But that's the beautiful thing about competition is you get to keep playing.
Huskers will play today. The Wisconsin Badgers, two teams that I think expected this year to go certainly differently. And I think, not saying it's a good thing, but Nebraska perhaps more used to this feeling than Wisconsin is. There's been a lot of consternation in Badger country this week, firing their offensive coordinator. By the way, surprised at the timing on that or no?
Yeah, so, I mean, yes, I'm surprised at how he handled it. Not so
Interesting week for Mr. Fickle.
Yeah. You saw two guys that people hold in kind of a similar vein amongst their peers throughout college football handle a similar situation completely different, right? One, I think, added kerosene. The other did his best to diffuse and move on, right? When you give kind of those answers early or the answer early in that presser and the next 17 minutes aren't about your opponent, yeah, interesting is a good word for it.
I suppose I should have elaborated a little bit more when I was talking about things going on in the walls of Wisconsin. That's kind of what I was alluding to. Was it was an odd feeling, aggressive, tense.
I mean, he took his stand, didn't he?
I was going to say that there wasn't a lot of reading between the lines of where he came down this week. And you know, Badger fans are used to things going a certain way.
Yeah, they like continuity, right? Consistency. It's been anything but that.
So I wonder, you know, what type of effect that's having on the team because, you know, this is still new. What's going on with Coach Fickle and, you know, the culture he's trying to lay. I think the patience certainly is maybe running a little thin.
Waning a little?
Yep. I think
when you're ambassadors, right? You know, the Alvarez's. I mean, you've had some folks that are familiar with that program and have some vested interest in that program. Not a ton of ringing endorsements this week, which is very interesting. And Alvarez has been consistent with his messaging too. He's just not sure what he's looking at.
And the interesting thing to me, DB, watching the game on the plane with them and the Ducks coming back from L.A. last week, you kind of felt like they were taking some swings at the champ. At the title fight, you know, and, you know, ended up losing. You wonder what the bounce back is, and especially being here today, like having to come on the road when I don't know if it helps or hurts them, but it's going to be an interesting first quarter and a half, I think, for the Badgers. Not saying that's going to determine the outcome, but that to me is an interesting part to the game, is how they respond after shooting their shot against Oregon last week.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is I like the whole, you used, the fight, the rock fight, and absorbing. And this is, I kind of liken this, and I thought about this all week. This is a little bit of like, for the older folks out there, like Liston and Ali, where before Ali won the title, Liston was kind of this big bad bully, and he was this tough guy, and Ali was this young upstart that really didn't know any better, and he wanted to put that to the test. And we know how the outcome of that fight went. And sometimes I feel like when you're a program like USC or even Wisconsin, which may be an even better example of kind of that bully, the one that's kind of just been beating up on you and everybody else with a certain style, Nebraska has a chance, especially right now in the moment, to kind of have their Ali moment where this could be the start. Because if they get this one, I'm not even going to allow myself to say it out loud, but if they get this one and they get the proverbial monkey off their back, anything's possible here last handful of games.
That word belief starts creeping into the minds.
And it's a powerful word.
It sure is, especially around here with this program. We're off and rolling here on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Ben McLaughlin joined by Husker color analyst Damon Benning, Josh Hilkeman producing for us here this morning. Appreciate everybody dialing us up. Tailgate, couch, car, garage. We don't care. We don't care where you're at. Glad you got us tuned in. Dana Holgorsen, man, what an interesting 10 to 14 days it's been around here with him. He stole the show this week, putting a microphone in front of his face as you knew it would. We'll dive into, one, what we saw from his offense last week, but more so his comments this week that had the ire of Husker Nation. We'll dive into that. But first, I want to remind you to lock in your health care coverage for 2025. Choose a champion for everyday health rooted right here in Nebraska. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. We'll talk Nebraska's new OC after the break.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin, chicken, and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
Being game day ready means bringing the die-hard passion, all in, all the time. And now, you can show your Husker pride everywhere you go with the Husker Visa Debit Card, free with FNBO free checking. Gear up, game on, and give it up for the Big Red. Every time you pay, the Husker Visa Debit Card, only at FNBO, the Bank of Husker Nation. Bring it. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series, best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9% APR for 60 months, plus no payments for up to 90 days and $1,000 bonus cash on a new F-150.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network. You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Cornerstone Bank is committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Off and rolling with Cornhusker football coverage here on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning with you for the next hour and a half. Did our due diligence in the first segment, I think, as we typically do. Dana Holgorsen, you and I talked last week a lot about what's realistic, what's not, what does that presence mean? But I think more importantly is his implementation of calling an offense. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. And it was kind of a little bit of what we foreshadowed. A lot of the same plays, just maybe different players running those same plays. We did see a little bit of the quick game. You actually saw slants and some choice routes, little option routes, which nice little wrinkle. I think they'll be even better with that this week. But I think for the most part, I like the fact that they seem to settle into a rhythm, especially in that second and third quarter with the ground game, right? Just the way that those guys were kind of getting lathered up, and it started to get better as the game went on. I'm pretty excited about that aspect of it because he showed you the feel of an offensive play caller.
You know what I like that hasn't got much run this week? First play of the game.
Oh,
we're taking a shot. We're not here to mess around.
Yeah,
like
I looked at Greg and I was like, wow, both quarterbacks must have been listening to what was going on in the media with their respective programs because SC was getting vertical in the passing game. That had been a criticism. And what does Nebraska open up with? They get vertical in the passing game. I'm like, a couple of shot plays early.
Well, they didn't stop there. In fact, that was just putting logs on the fire with Dana Holgorsen this week. Got a microphone in front of his face, and as we've learned over the years, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. You know you're going to get a straight shooter, that's for sure, but I don't think I've been asked about a press conference more than I have Dana's this week, just from people that are interested with the program. It was really interesting to hear, so we thought if you missed it, you could hear some of Coach Holgorsen's comments, and first talking about why he's here. How did he end up here at Nebraska?
I was bored. Great deal of respect for Coach Rule. We visited in December, and I didn't think it was fair to him, me, or the program to do it at that point. I was tired. I'd been through a lot, and just didn't have to do it at that point, and I didn't feel like I was ready to give it my all. I was very grateful to Sonny Dykes and TCU for being a consultant there, which kept me around the game. I was there for, I think 3 weeks in camp,
And then went on vacation for about 2 weeks. Came back, and I was always there. Like, I was there for 2 weeks, and I was there for 2 games, and I didn't like being a part of the games because I wasn't a part of the games. All right, I was up in the head coach's suite for a game, and I was on the sidelines for a game, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this part of it. If I don't have any control over it, I don't want to do it. So I would just help prep them in the beginning of the week, and then I'd go do something else. It was fun to kind of go do other things, but I was slated to go back to Fort Worth on Sunday night, and Coach Rule called, and I was like, yeah, I mean, he said, let's just come try to figure this out. I need your help. And so I was grateful to him for saying that I needed your help, and so I was like, I think a great deal of him. I think a great deal of this program, so I was excited to jump on it. Rules allow it now. In years past, rules wouldn't have allowed it. So, I just wanted to insert myself and try to help Coach Rule and try to help this football team and try to help this great program.
Let's roll right along now into personnel decisions. This is something that I think caught the attention of Husker fans as well, with a new set of eyes. And Coach Rule alluded to this last week with the bye week of getting guys that he trusts. And certainly Coach Holgorsen was one of those, just eyes on the program, eyes on the players. And here's Dana Holgorsen talking about personnel decisions.
I had no idea what to expect on Saturday. I dove right in, and, a week later, he made the announcement. I didn't know what was going to happen in the beginning. I didn't come here with the intention of being the offensive coordinator and the play caller. We didn't know what it was going to look like. He's just like, hurry up and get here, and so I got here and just started digging into it, and I think, my job is to wake up and try to make it better every single day. I've literally worked 16-hour days every day for, what's it been, 13, 14 days now, or whatever it is, so I'm still learning. I'm still learning the offense. I'm still learning different nuances. I'm still learning the players. I don't know all the players yet, and so I'm still trying to get to know those guys. And, at the end of the day, it's about putting your head down and just trying to prepare, and so for, the first 8 or 9 days, I focused on us and, tried to learn an offense. I watched all the video to try to figure out what we do well and what we don't do well, and watched 3 or 4 practices to try to assess what we do well and what we don't do well. And then I turned attention to USC and had to figure that out defensively. And then Sunday I had to turn our attention to Wisconsin. So there's only so many hours in the day. We just got done with a practice out there, 2.5-hour practice, and I'm about to go get into a room and study the video for the next couple hours, and then turn the attention back to Wisconsin and start watching third down and medium and third down and long and red zone and score zone and goal line. Leave here late at night, wake up and do it all over again. So there's a lot of information, a lot of assessing, a lot of, but at the end of the day, it's about trying to get these guys in position to be successful, just whatever we can do to practice to make people better, to give them the information, to try to get these guys to be in position to be able to be successful this Saturday. I ain't thinking about anything else other than that. I ain't thinking about where we need to go offensively. I'm not thinking about, the University of Iowa the next week. I don't know what December is going to look like. I don't know what January is going to look like. I don't care. 100% of my focus is trying to get our offense better to where we can win against Wisconsin on Saturday.
The glamorous life of a coach, right? Incredible insight there from Dana Holgorsen on what his day-to-day process is and how escalated of a timeline we're operating on right now. But this next clip is the one that had Husker Nation and everybody else in the audience asking questions, laughing, applauding, probably even a tear or two somewhere out there for the perimeter blocking enthusiasts out there. Here's Coach Holgorsen talking about the receiver specifically and what he's seen from his guys on the outside.
I thought they blocked well. That's the first thing I challenged them. I was like, guys, I said, you guys are fairly big kids. You know, I know 17's not a big kid, but he's a tough kid. But there's some good-sized kids out there, you know. I mean, 16, 18, 4. I mean, these guys, you know, 29, these guys are big bodies. I'm like, why are you not blocking worth the crap on the perimeter? I mean, it's embarrassing. I mean, you got being a receiver, you think, they want touches, throw me the ball. First thing I said to him, if you don't start blocking out there, then you're not going to get the ball thrown to you. And this past week, it was our best perimeter blocking of the season. I was very happy with those guys, and they're proud of it, you know, because they worked hard on it for 2 weeks. That's where it starts, you know, and then just details of route running and ball skills. We got guys that can make plays. The problem that we probably ran into last week is not defeating man coverage. USC's very talented in their secondary. Wisconsin's very talented in their secondary. Both are going to play a lot of man. We didn't do a very good job of separation last week. We need to do a better job of that this week for us to be successful against Wisconsin.
All right, three things quickly, DB. One, not a lot of blurred lines with what he thought.
Yeah. You're not leaving wondering what he's thinking?
No.
Yeah.
Two, you got to love how he's throwing out numbers and not names of his own guys.
That's how I would like to talk. It's just my job won't allow me because I think the audience would be, hey, he's not number 4 at Spanx. But as a coach, I don't use names. I always use numbers.
Love it.
I love it, too.
And awesome. But third, and arguably most importantly, and I think you're probably doing the raise the roof when you heard this, separation.
Hey, you want to do that again?
We do have a YouTube stream. 174 people saw that twice. Winning one-on-ones and separation. How long have you specifically been talking about this?
Yeah, it's music to my ears, and I like the whole accountability thing. That's really my right, because if you're going to surmise that thing in a couple of words, accountability had to be in there, right?
Sure.
I absolutely loved his authenticity. You know, we didn't get a chance to hear the clip where, you know, he talked about, hey, sometimes as a coach, you know, you fall in love with certain guys, and that happens as a position coach, and you want to see what some other guys can do. And I was like, oh, boy, I'm all in. I mean, I am all in. That's one of the few interviews that I replayed throughout the course of the week. It was almost like for motivation, right? I'm like, hopefully you guys see it like that.
And now all this talk of a mystery player, the secret hidden weapon.
Well, you know my guess.
I know your guess.
It's been the guy. Yeah.
You've been president of the fan club for, what, a year and 10 games?
Yeah.
About?
Well, is it the same guy we're talking about?
I don't know.
What position does he play?
Wide receiver.
He's a running back. But I do love that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say. You love a lot of guys.
No, this guy, so this guy that I hope that it is, and we'll probably know early.
I think so.
I think we should put our partner in crime, Jess, on it. My guess was Mekhi Nelson. Just because, you know, we left that 1890 open scrimmage and everybody was watching the quarterbacks, and I had seen those guys in practice. I wanted to go down and watch something else, so I'm on the other end. And I'm like, yeah, I like Mekhi Nelson. I had a couple of my former teammates tell me I was crazy, like, oh, he hasn't played yet, so much for knowing running backs. So deep down, I just want to be right. But
I want that for you, too.
Oh, my inspiration. It's like a Chicago moment. Did they sing "You're My Inspiration"? I don't know.
Let's just say a lot of the predictions that we throw out on this show was like Creighton from 3-point range last night. Not a lot going in. So anytime you and I can get a win, I want it for you too.
The other one is he spends a lot of time at my house, so I emulated. I tried to emulate his dad's running style in high school was Quinn Clark.
Yeah.
So that's probably who.
That seems to be the buzz.
So
name.
my heart is hoping it's Quinn. My head, because I of my ego, thinks it's Mekhi.
Can I tell you where I'm at?
Where you at?
I don't much care who it is. If they're going to help us win, I don't care what his name is.
You're
I don't care what number he is.
You're part of that pragmatic crew, right? My group text, they couldn't give a rip. They just want to see impact.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
let's if we've got some.
Why am I not surprised that that's what you landed on?
Well, we are accumulating the hours of doing these shows together, so we're getting to know each other very, very quickly on where we stand. But really interesting stuff from the new OC this week, and I know fans got a big kick out of his presser, and I know a lot of them are probably thinking the same exact thing. He's not wrong. I think Banks had his best day as a blocker last week.
He was even good in game. I think Sharpie and I talked about him. He really answered the dinner bell on multiple drives.
Yeah, no question about it. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. I mentioned the basketball game briefly. Husker fans are still feeling that. There's a lot of activity around the stadium. I think Husker fans excited, and we'll, of course, want to make this a memorable last game at Memorial Stadium. Always sad that it's the last one, and you know, you got to wait however long for the next one. So I know fans are excited for this one. Probably traffic picking up around the roads as well. Let's get our first look at our traffic. Here's Trooper Brett.
Good morning, Nebraska fans. Traffic is beginning to build, but it's still flowing well in most areas as we get ready to welcome our Huskers back to Lincoln for Senior Day. No major issues to report quite yet, just a couple of disabled vehicles. So if you are westbound on I-80, keep an eye out on the inside shoulder just before the Gretna Outlet Mall. Another disabled vehicle being reported on I-80 eastbound near mile marker 397. Fans, just like football pads, your car is designed to protect you in a collision, and your seatbelt is the MVP. Buckle up every trip and every time. I'm Trooper Brett with the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network. This traffic report is brought to you by the NDOT.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Find your next vehicle at Woodhouse Chevy. Explore the newest lineup of Chevy vehicles, including spacious SUVs, versatile trucks, and reliable sedans. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive. Lease a 2025 Chevy Equinox for $349 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year at Woodhouse Chevy in Omaha. With approved credit, $1,000 down payment on new GM card plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Must have current Chevy lease to qualify. Must apply and be approved for new GM credit card and spend a minimum of $1,000 at time of purchase. Offer expires 12/2/2024. See dealer for details.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Working together, Central Valley Ag unites with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. CVA's power products are the go-to for farmers and ranchers seeking top-tier animal feed, ensuring animals get the precise nutrients they need. Now until December 1st, enter to win 2 CVA horsepower tubs or 2 CVA power cow tubs with purchase of any CVA power tub. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Experience the difference at Woodhouse Ford. Looking for your newest sleek sedan, a rugged truck, or a spacious SUV? The Ford lineup has something for everyone. Shop our wide selection of new and pre-owned inventory at one of our 3 convenient locations in Blair, Omaha, and Plattsmouth. And take advantage of current offers going on now. Get started on your next adventure at Woodhouse Ford.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine.
Hi, welcome.
Is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience.
You know what? I agree.
The life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. I'm Jessica Cootie. I guess I should say Cornhuskers Conversation because we have a treat for you today. One of the best duos and defensive line duos in all of college football. If you ask our position coach, Terrence Knighton, he'll say the best duo in all of college football. Nash Hutmaker, Ty Robinson, as they prepare to celebrate Senior Day. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I've interviewed you guys both so many times, but never together. This is the only way you guys would agree to do it. Would do it together, right?
Yeah, special. Special.
Well, can you believe it? Senior Day's coming up on Saturday.
Man, it's been a journey. 6 years of playing football here, and now it's finally coming to an end. It's kind of all hit me at once. Like I never really thought this day would really, come this fast.
What about for you, Dash?
No, pretty much the same thing. It's 5 years of really just giving my all, coming in here every day through the big wins or the tough times. It's kind of all coming to a close. The relationships I built over the last 5 years are relationships I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. So I'm just going to take it all in this week and just excited for Saturday.
Take me back to when you guys were seniors in high school, juniors in high school, and you landed on Nebraska. Was it, when you set out to come here, was it everything you thought you could be? I mean, how would you describe the last 5-6 years and just your time in a Husker uniform?
Man, I love this place. With the coaching changes, I never even saw myself once wanting to transfer anywhere. Even when I was a incoming freshman and Coach Dawson ended up going back to the NFL to be with the Giants, I was still sold on Nebraska because I just loved it so much. It was an honor to be able to represent everybody here in Nebraska.
Yeah, no, I same as Ty. There was, through everything that's happened over the course of the last 5 years, there's never been a doubt in my mind that Nebraska is the right place for me. I believe it always has been, it always will be. I love Lincoln. I love the people in Lincoln. I love, obviously, the Huskers fans. I love everything about Nebraska. So it's just been an honor to be able to play here and represent Nebraska for the last 5 years.
You guys have such a cool relationship beyond just what you see on the football field. If you see you guys walking around, a lot of times you're together. Take me back to the first time you guys met and what you thought of Nash and what you thought of Ty.
Yeah, no, I remember Nash coming in my sophomore year. I was thinking, man, this dude is big, and he's gonna help us out a lot in the interior. As you are trying to find your own way, you see it as kind of a competitiveness. I want my job. I know he wants a job, but it was all in good faith and just making each other better. I remember when he got here, he was just so, like I said, he was just so big and so strong. He's out there moving guys with terrible technique, no feet. And I'm like, it's okay, because all that stuff will come, because I'm in the same boat as you. I got nothing. So watching him finally flourish and become the player he is today has been so awesome. And I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, like I said, when I first got here, I was a little rough around the edges, you could say. One of the first interactions I had with Ty was actually him going around and telling me what upsets everyone on the defensive line and proceeding to do those things to everyone. And so me and Ty, we hit it off right off the bat. I've always, Ty helped me out a lot when I first got here, just with keeping my confidence up, being like, hey man, it's just keep working, you're gonna get there. And so with that kind of thing, and so that obviously helped me a lot. And then throughout the years we just become closer and closer. And like you said, now we're always, about every time you see me, Ty's somewhere around, or vice versa.
What clicked for you guys that you guys became so close off the field too?
I don't know. He's funny, I'm funny. Like it's just, it's just kind of one of those things where, it just happened. And I think just, getting to know each other more, we're actually pretty similar. Just, he's from up a little bit more north, I'm from a little bit more south, but, a lot of similarities in who we are. So I just think we, clicked.
When you wanted to come back and you stayed here, I mean, how much were the relationships like the one you have with Nash critical in that decision?
Well, when I first came in, you don't really understand a lot, really what the culture is like in at a D1 program. But after being here for so long, I finally understand what all those older guys were talking about, and the relationships that you build. Like me and Nash might die next to each other. Who knows? When we're freaking 90 years old. I just think the relationship and the bond, the brotherhood that we've built. With numerous guys on the team, it's kind of like that, and it goes just beyond football to this day.
Okay, so I was told to ask you guys about your pets. Apparently, you guys both have some unique pets.
Yeah, you want to go first?
I can go first. I have a pet goose. His name's Larry.
Okay.
He's been around for probably, 10, 12 years-ish now. And he just kind of hangs out outside the house, and he has a little route he takes in the summertime where we have our neighbors, we have a couple older ladies as our neighbors, and so they're always home, and he'll waddle over there, and one of them will feed him some corn, and then he goes over to the next house, and so kind of everyone around town knows about Larry, and he's flown into town a few times and been stopping traffic in the roads. So Larry is very notorious around Oklahoma and Chamberlain.
So he knows where his home is.
Oh yeah, he always comes back home. Sometimes he always just sits in the backyard. Half the time he never goes anywhere else besides the backyard.
And does he see you as his mom or whatever?
Every time I go home, he still recognizes me. He'll run up to my pickup, he'll be honking and going crazy, and I'll pet him. He runs right up to me. You can pet him, you can do whatever. So.
Oh, that's great. Okay, what's yours?
Yeah, so we technically didn't own this animal, but it was living at our house. We had a camel.
A camel?
Yeah, and I came home one day after school, and it was just me at home. And I looked through my backyard, and I'm like, that didn't look like a horse. So I was like, am I seeing something? What is this? And I go out there, and I'm like, holy crap, there's an actual camel in my pasture back here. And I ended up calling my mom, and she's like, yeah, our neighbor needed to keep him over there. And so he basically was there for 2 or 3 years. When I would go out and hang out with him, he was really cool. He was pretty friendly, and he was a lot smaller. I mean, I say small. He's probably about the height of me at the time, and now he's probably a little, probably 2 of me now. But he's pretty famous back home. Our neighbor takes him out, and we'll ride him and bring patrol him around our town and take him to this vineyard that's pretty close by. And it's awesome. I took him to school for our bring your pet to school day one time.
Wow.
I didn't go over so well with the school, but everyone loved it, so yeah.
Who would have thought we have a goose and a camel owners on this football team?
Yep.
Okay, so back to the football thing. Ty, describe Nash on the field, and then Nash wants you to describe Ty on the field.
Well, I like to call Nash the good cop in our little duo, but when he gets out there on that field, I mean, you could really see the switch flip for him. He just goes into a whole different area, I think, that is what makes him such a great player. I mean, just being so aggressive and so physical and being just so dominant against the offensive linemen. I mean, he makes it really easy to do my job, making me feel like, I don't have to be the one that always has to, do the disruption or anything like that, knowing that he's got my back on that side of the ball and I'll have my side on my side of the ball.
Yeah, no, Ty, I think, is actually the definition of flipping the switch. You know, you see Ty in the building. He is like the nicest guy ever, and it's not just in games. It's practice. It's in the weight room. It's everywhere with Ty. If someone isn't doing what they're supposed to do, Ty is going to let you hear about it. And when you're out there playing against opposing teams, I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter what's going on. Like, Ty is just flying around with, like, his hair's on fire trying to make plays. And I think that is like that's just the best way to describe it. I mean, Ty he just flies around and makes plays. Like, that's just what he does. That's what he's always done, and it's so fun to watch when he gets on a roll.
Or his non-hair on fire.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm curious to see, because you guys celebrate each other. It's so cool to see the way that you guys are so fired up. It's almost like you're more fired up when he makes a play than when you make a play. What is it like, Nash, out there when you see him get in the backfield or make a big play? I mean, what, from your perspective, when you're seeing it unfold, what is it like out there when you have somebody so close out there causing the kind of disruption that he is?
I mean, when you see, like, one of your best friends make a play out there on the field and, like, do something great, like, it's an awesome feeling. It's just like, you're never, we're out there, right? It's like, it's a team game, like, but, like, when Ty makes a play, like, it makes me just so, like, it feels like I made the play, you know? I get so excited for him and so happy for him. He actually has to, like, calm me down sometimes out there, because I, like, you know, if something cool happens, I just kind of freak out and, like, don't know what to do. And he's like, no, just calm down.
You're confirming that?
Yeah. No, I feel like, you know, when he makes a play, like, I'm trying to steal some of that juice, maybe that I need to pick me up, and, you know, it just kind of goes back and forth. So now he's making plays, and I'm making plays, and he's making plays, and I think it just kind of ends up being a domino effect, because then it goes to the linebackers, right? The linebackers are fired up that we're up front making plays, you know, making their jobs easy, and then the secondary's fired up that we're getting back there and rushing the passer and getting TFLs, and, you know, they're back there, you know, talking their stuff to the wideouts, talking about how, you know, our D-line's better than your O-line type of deal. And, yeah, I just think, you know, the juice that it brings really is what fires both of us up.
And what does it do for you as personally as a player, knowing and playing alongside a guy like Nash? And same thing for you, Nash. How does that help elevate your game?
Well, I think just knowing that, you know, me and him have both similar goals. I mean, throughout this whole, the last 2 years, it's been to, you know, leave this place as a winning program and kind of, you know, start that legacy of we're going to get this place switched around. I mean, that's really the reason why we both came here. And to see how, you know, how close we are to achieving that, it really just drives us even more. So when we go out there, it's almost like, you know, no matter how tired we are, no matter if we're hurting, like it's all worth it at the end, because I know he's gone through the same, you know, trials and pain and suffering that I've gone through, and it kind of just makes you feel more, you know, compelling to go out there for each other.
Is there a certain level of trust that, I mean, you know what he's going to do, so it's just kind of different when you're out there?
Yeah,
Why is that funny?
It's just because it's true.
Like, we almost have like a twin kind of thing. Like,
telepath?
It's like get out of my head type of deal.
Yeah, like
it's bad sometimes.
Sometimes out there we're like finishing each other's sentences and stuff. When I'm out there with Ty, it's just I know if we get this certain look, I know exactly where he's going to be, so it allows me to play off of him and vice versa for him. Like, it just, I don't know really how to describe it. It just seems to work better and easier when it's me and Ty out there. So there's definitely some truth to that.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of art, how's the harmonica going? Let me ask Nash, how good of a harmonica player is he?
No,
it's not bad.
He is
My one song.
Yeah, his one song that he can do pretty well.
What song is it?
It's War. George Lopez intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, every now and then in the hotel room the night before games, he brings it out and gets a little practice in. He's gotten better.
It's not great, though.
It's not great, but he's improving every week.
Is it something you're going to continue to do?
I want to. It's a lot of fun. I've just been, you know, just super busy with the season, and you kind of like forget about it because you just want to go home and sleep, and like, you know, you got other things to do. But yeah, no, I think it's kind of like a cool little thing to do.
You know, I think with Terrence Knighton and the way that he's allowed the personalities to shine through within this defensive line, how much have you guys taken that on yourself to help some of these younger guys step into this role and do with the defensive line what you guys want to do up front?
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, allowing those personalities to come through, and I think that's what has really been the greatest successor in our room is, each person that's in there has a different type of way of playing, but yet it's still achieving the same goal as like something that me or Nash would do differently. And so I think, I think what we've done is a good job of is helping them control that, where they don't go too far one side or too low the other, and to be able to use kind of like the right way to navigate and be, hold the standard that we have as a defensive line. And I think the guys have done a great job. It's safe to say, like, I'm happy to be leaving it in those guys' hands.
You feel like you guys are setting these guys up to fill your role, Nash?
Yeah, I would say for sure. I think just, and there's when you're trying to be a leader of a group, it takes a certain level of trust, and T-Night does a phenomenal job of us actually, sharing things with each other and getting closer on a deeper level besides just on the football field. And so that allows us to coach those guys harder and, say the tough things to them, that what it takes to keep developing them, keep getting better. So I think that's just another big thing that T-Night allows us to do is we're big on building the brotherhood off of the field, and that just carries over right onto the field, I think, with how hard you can be on guys because they trust you, they know it's coming from a good place. So I think T-Night does a phenomenal job with that as well.
Okay, you heard me. I asked him, a few weeks ago, are you guys, is this the best duo in college football? He said, hands down, no doubt. Anybody that wants to come talk to me, I'll let them know about it. So is he one of the best defensive line coaches in the country? I'll let you guys brag on him a little bit.
No doubt, probably number one. Yeah, I think his way, his style of coaching is, it's something that I have not been privy to, and I think, it works really well with the guys in our group, and we've added guys from different positions to come into our room, and they mold and find their way, and they have become a part of the group, and we just stick to each other. So I think he's just done a great job, and he's not, like Nash has said, we were really open with each other, but at the same time he's not afraid to also flip that switch and coach you really hard. And what I think is awesome is that a lot of our guys in our room don't get, sensitive or in their feelings about him coaching us hard, because we know, we've seen his resume, we've seen what he's done, and, he's been where we all want to be, so might as well listen to the guy and try to be successful just like him.
That's awesome. Well, okay, we got one more left in Memorial Stadium. What has it meant to you guys to play in front of this crowd, to run out in this stadium Saturday in and Saturday out for the last several years?
Yeah, I mean, it's meant the world, through everything that's gone on in our times here, coaches changes, all that stuff. For the fans to show up like they do every single week, loud, you go to some other stadiums across the country, and it's not like that every week. So we're so fortunate to be at a place where the fans care so much and show up every week cheering louder than they were the week before. To be able to go out in front of that every time is pretty special. And, I said earlier, just the relationships I built along the way, the bonds that are going to last forever. Lincoln, Nebraska has meant so much to me, and it's helped me become who I am to this day. So I'm so grateful and excited to go out there one last time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the stadium, besides COVID, empty at all. The stadium has been filled, and I just know how much of, a privilege and a blessing that is to have these fans that care so much. And, you could feel that when you're out there. You feel the love and the support, and almost it's like the heartbeat of the stadium, of the program. And us players, we feed off that. Whether, it's you making a play or someone else making a play, or, there's a bad call on the field, the fans let you know, and it's just so awesome to be able to represent. I'm prideful, and I'm proud to be able to put that on one last time and in here in Memorial and go put out.
How do you balance the emotions of it, knowing that are you going to try to take it in, but also you guys talk so much about that 1-0 mindset and how important this game is, so how do you balance all of that going into this day?
Well, I think this one's just, it's a little bit more special, kind of a smell the roses type of deal in the beginning. But when it comes to that, to playing on that in the game, like we said, that switch flips, and you're out there on that field. You still have a job to do. But I mean, you come off the field, and you can kind of, get a drink of water and enjoy the atmosphere and the presence of everyone, and then, you get locked right back in.
All right, Wisconsin, obviously there's a lot of history and tradition there, but what are going to be the keys for you guys to do what you do defensively to help this football team get one last win here in Memorial?
I mean, it's going to be go out and knock the run out early, make some plays early. Like Ty said, that especially up front, we take pride in making some plays and bringing the energy early just to get everyone on the defense rolling, because once our defense gets rolling, everyone's flying around, celebrating with each other. Those are the most fun games to be a part of. So just knocking the run out early, making some plays early, and getting everyone ready to go and fired up for the rest of the game.
Well, I think I speak for all of Husker Nation. Thank you guys for being Huskers, and me personally, thank you guys for putting up with all the interviews over the last few years. This is not the last one. I'm sure we have a few more left, but thank you for spending the time, and thank you guys.
Thank you. For sure, thank you.
Thanks again to Ty Robinson and Nash Hopmaker for sitting down with us for this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, son, can you hand me that vice grip? As any farmer or rancher knows, having the right tools in the toolbox is important. That goes for your ag lending as well. If you're considering expansion, restructuring debt, or purchasing equipment, call Dakota Mac. We have a toolbox full of lending solutions to help you with your ag financing needs.
Hi, it's Nick Reno from Dakota Mac. Call me at 308-380-7564 for all your ag financing needs.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Gary's Quick Steak is 100% sirloin and cooks from frozen in minutes.
Hi, my name is Gary Rower. I developed America's fastest cooking Philly steak from my 2 cheesesteak restaurant chains, one of which became a top 100 chain in the country. Faster means more great tasting meals in minutes. I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it. My Quick Steak can be found in stores near you or buy online.
Look for Gary's Quick Steak at your local grocery and club stores.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Being game day ready means bringing the die-hard passion, all in, all the time. And now, you can show your Husker pride everywhere you go with the Husker Visa debit card, free with FNBO free checking. Gear up, game on, and give it up for the Big Red. Every time you pay, the Husker Visa Debit Card. Only at FMBO, the Bank of Husker Nation. Bring it. Get yours today at fmbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Matt Coatney back with you on our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show. Time now for a scoreboard update. It's brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery here in the Akrs Broadcast Center. Oregon and Washington are the only Big Ten teams with byes this weekend, but there's a big game in the Big Ten right now. Number 5, Indiana. At number 2, Ohio State, and for a school that has lost 29 straight to the Buckeyes and is the all-time leader in FBS losses, this is arguably the biggest game in Hoosiers history. Indiana got the ball first. They went right down the field into the red zone.
Everybody else lines up late. It's 1st and goal at the 2. Rourke takes the snow. It's a direct snap to Tyson Lawton. Pounds his way forward. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Indiana. And Indiana scores first blood here this afternoon. The Hoosiers take a 6-0 lead, and a great run by Lawson. Another really good 2-yard run.
That's Don Fisher on Indiana radio from Learfield. That capped an 11-play, 70-yard scoring drive. So it's 7-0 Indiana, and they are in the late stages of the first quarter. Illinois at Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights are seeking to win 3 consecutive Big Ten games for the first time since joining the conference. Jay Battelle got the scoring started with a 34-yard field goal for Rutgers. They've got a minute left in the first quarter in Piscataway, and Rutgers leads 25th-ranked Illinois 3-0. Iowa at Maryland. The Hawkeyes have had all kinds of injury issues at quarterback this season, and they have started walk-on Jackson Stratton at quarterback today. If you've never heard of him, you're not alone. Drew Stevens has connected on a 27-yard field goal for Iowa. The Hawks lead it in College Park 3-0. They have just started the second quarter of play. Wake Forest is at number 9 Miami. If the Hurricanes win out, they'll play in the ACC championship game. Coming into today's game, Cam Ward's 32 touchdown passes lead all of major college football. He got number 33 early in this one on a 13-yard TD pass to Jacoby George. But then the Demons came right back. Hank Bachmeier connected with Micah Mays Jr. on a 36-yard touchdown pass. Then Miami drove deep and got an Andres Borgalas 40-yard field goal to take a 10-7 lead late in the first quarter, and that's where we stand right now. Miami leads Wake Forest 10-7 at the end of the first quarter of play. Number 11, Ole Miss at Florida after knocking off LSU last week. This is a litmus test for Billy Napier and the Gators. No score. They have reached the end of the first quarter there. Number 14, SMU at Virginia. The league newcomer Mustangs can clinch an appearance in the ACC championship game with a win in their first ever meeting against the Cavaliers. Rashard Smith started the scoring on a 4-yard run for the Ponies, and SMU has a 7-0 lead at Virginia. They have reached the end of the first quarter. And upstate New York, UConn at Syracuse, and the Orange are seeking just their second 8-win season since 2001. On the second play of the game, they got on the board Kyle McCord, connected with Aronde Gadsden II on a 22-yard scoring pass. But UConn came back. Cam Edwards tied it up on a long 71-yard touchdown run. Syracuse has just scored. They are 5 seconds into the second quarter, and the Orange lead UConn 14-7. North Carolina at Boston College. The Tar Heels have won 5 straight in this series, and they're on a 3-game winning streak this season, but Boston College has a 9-0 lead early in the second quarter. Sam Houston at Jacksonville State. Coach Rich Rodriguez and the Gamecocks can clinch a spot in the Conference USA Championship game. If they defeat the Bearcats today, Tyler Huff got Jacksonville State on the board first on a 3-yard scoring run, and Jacksonville State leads Sam Houston early in the second quarter 7-0. Just underway, number 10 Georgia against UMass at 12 p.m. Central will be UTEP at number 7 Tennessee. Western Kentucky at Liberty, that's also a 12 noon game. At 12:30 p.m. Central, Charleston Southern at Florida State. Even though Florida State is having the worst season in 2 generations, they're favored by 33.5 points today against the Buccaneers. Later today at 2:30 p.m. Central in the Big Ten, number 4 Penn State's at Minnesota. The Nittany Lions have 29 consecutive wins over regular season opponents not named. Ohio State or Michigan. Northwestern is at Michigan also today. And then tonight, 7 p.m. Central at the Devaney Center. It'll be number 2 Husker volleyball against Wisconsin. You can join John Baylor and Lauren Cook West at 6 p.m. Central on some of our Huskers Radio Network affiliates for pre-match coverage of that. And congratulations to Fred Hoiberg and the guys for a great win last night in downtown Omaha over the Creighton Blue Jays, Ben.
Coach, I've dubbed this the no love lost weekend for Husker athletics. I mean, my goodness. It doesn't take much for fans to get excited this weekend. If it does, check your pulse, because it's pretty easy to get up for all these games.
I mean, any one of these games we've had this weekend would have just been appointment viewing, and it just keeps coming and keeps coming, doesn't it?
Crazy. But that's this time of year. I mean, it's not going to get any better next Friday for Husker football, anyhow. You had a good one yesterday, and obviously the men had a very good start to their game, and hopefully volleyball and football can do their part here this day, today.
Yeah, and then Josh Banderas will be in here with me tonight from about 7:30 to 9:30 Central. We'll talk it all over on Big Red Reaction later tonight.
Appointment viewing. Coat, appreciate you as always.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thank you. Matt Coatney giving us a scoreboard update. Busy day and some games. Ohio State had 3rd and 35, and they pick it up. They're about to score and get that thing tied at the shoe. So good one as expected in Columbus. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat. 988 is free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Step aside, we'll break down today's opponent, the Wisconsin Badgers, coming up next.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
To be a part of Nebraska Medicine
Hi, welcome.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin chicken and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
This is Big Red Football.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
There's only a few minutes left before Mom gets home and Dad needs a win.
He's had a long day, Mac.
He certainly has. Will this All-Star deliver dinner on time, or will Takeout take the title?
Oh, look. He's changing up formation. What's he up to?
There's a snap. He's heading to the fridge. Something's happening.
He's going for... I can't believe it.
Dad's got a bottle of Dorothy Lynch, and he's done it. The chicken, the salad, the veggies. He could go all the way.
Incredible flavor. Unbelievably easy. That's how you win with Dorothy Lynch.
There's something to be said for American-made. But at Monolith, we're helping create Nebraska-made. From here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. Soon we'll be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. We're investing hundreds of millions in our multiple Nebraska facilities and employing Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska-made.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Nebraska is ready to play their final home game of the 2024 regular season as the Wisconsin Badgers have come to Lincoln. Wisconsin has lost each of its last 3 games, including matchups with 2 of the top 3 teams in the country, with Penn State and Oregon. With the 5-5 record, both Wisconsin and Nebraska can clinch bowl eligibility with a win today. However, only one team will leave Memorial Stadium with that distinction this week. After moving on from Phil Longo as offensive coordinator, the Badgers have some similar question marks to resolve that Nebraska does. Their starting quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, tore his ACL earlier this year, so the main signal caller for Wisconsin has been Braden Locke. The sophomore has gone for over 100 yards through the air in every appearance this season, outside of the most recent game against Oregon, where the Badgers dropped the ball in a 16-13 tough loss at home. Locke has thrown at least 1 interception in every game outside of his first appearance in the 42-10 loss to Alabama on September 14th, and is currently tied for the 3rd most INTs in the conference through 9 games played.
The throw on second down. Locke batted down, picked off! Mateo Uiagalelei seals the deal and keeps Oregon undefeated.
Even though his numbers won't wow you, Locke can still do some nice things in the pocket. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns on the season, with at least 1 in every game outside of the Penn State loss in late October. His only multi-touchdown performance through the air came at home against Purdue, where he cashed in 3 times in the 52-6 rout over the Boilermakers.
First and goal at the 3-yard line. Will Pauling slot left, motions right, final half minute, 3rd quarter. Little play fake, Locke drifting, looks, throws, and it is caught by Tucker Ashcraft. Touchdown, Wisconsin. A rolling catch as Locke got it out of his hands in time, and Ashcraft holds it in, make it 20-3 Wisconsin.
Tawi Walker has been the top handoff option for Wisconsin this season. The former Oklahoma Sooner running back has rushed 20 or more times in 4 of the last 5 games this season for the Badgers. During that stretch, he's averaging nearly 5 yards per carry. That's something that should stick out to the NU defense after they gave up over 100 yards on the ground to Woody Marks last week.
Receiver out wide to the left as well on 1st and goal. Van Dyke gives it to Walker, trying to cut it back inside the 5-yard line. Gets through Tate Halleck. Walker driving to the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Oh, my goodness. A powerful run to the house from Tawee Walker as the Badgers take the lead.
His 773 rushing yards on the season places him 7th in the Big Ten. And Walker is one of 4 Big Ten runners with double-digit rushing touchdowns in 2024. He will certainly be a load to handle for the Blackshirts here today.
1st and 10. Locke will hand it to Walker to the 50, 45, 40. He's gone. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tawee Walker. As the Badgers deliver the knockout punch here in the 4th quarter.
In the receiving game, Vinny Anthony II and Will Pauling carry the weight of the passing offense. They both have over 400 receiving yards on the season and combined for almost half of the receiving offense of the whole team. Anthony II hasn't caught a touchdown since the Purdue game, but has had plenty of important catches over the middle of the season. The 6-foot junior can really get downfield with consistency as he has catches of at least 40 yards in 4 of his 9 appearances this year.
As Locke takes a snap, pressure coming, they pick it up, and he'll loft it up left side deep, and it's right in the bucket, caught at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin! Braden Locke right into the bucket to Vinny Anthony, and the Badgers with a fast answer to the early USC score.
Pauling scored a week ago against Oregon with one of his 2 receptions against the Ducks going for 6 points on the board. He has hauled in 42 catches, which far and away leads the Badgers crew. Pauling's 3 scores this year actually leads the team as well, and the former Cincinnati Bearcat is looking to make an impact here today.
Locke calls for the ball, gets the snap, looks the throw, 1 pump, pop fly, right side, end zone. Pauling got it, he secured it, touchdown Wisconsin. Locke to Will Pauling.
Other pass catchers like C.J. Williams, Bryson Green, and Tucker Ashcraft will likely hear their name called, as they all have over 10 catches this season. Defensively, it has been rough for Wisconsin. The schedule has not been a cakewalk, with 4 games against then top 25 teams in the country. And forcing turnovers has been a significant issue. The Badgers rank last in the Big Ten in interceptions, with the Purdue Boilermakers tied with them at just 4 so far this season. And when it comes to forcing fumbles, only Purdue has less than Wisconsin, as the 3 forced fumbles really haven't helped the Badgers' chances in big games either. Both Wisconsin and Nebraska give up around 320 yards of offense on average. Theoretically, the Husker offense, which has struggled with turnovers over the last few games, may be able to kick it into gear to finish the season, starting with Wisconsin here today. Nebraska and Wisconsin's history in the sport of college football is over a century old. The first matchup was all the way back on November 2nd of 1901, with an 18-0 shutout win for the Badgers. The series has really belonged to Wisconsin since 2012. With the last Husker win coming in Lincoln back on September 29th of that year. The teams would meet again in Indianapolis later that season for the Big Ten Championship, where Wisconsin would hang a series-high 70 points over Nebraska in victory. If the Huskers want to go bowling again, they will have to do something they haven't done in over a decade: beat Wisconsin. Nebraska was able to force overtime a season ago against them, led by a 100-yard rushing day from quarterback Chubba Purdy. However, the effort wasn't enough, resulting in a brutal 24-17 loss. Today's result could very well be different with all the question marks that Wisconsin is dealing with currently. It should be a fun one in Lincoln as the seniors get honored in their final game in front of a Memorial Stadium crowd as student athletes. For the Huskers Radio Network, I'm Jacob Schranz.
Thank you, Jacob. Today's opponent, the Wisconsin Badgers, new OC for them, Phil Longo, fired. Interesting kind of way the Oregon game went. I don't know that anybody necessarily expected that, DB, but what were you expecting from Wisconsin? Maybe differently this week than what they've been doing. Obviously, installs, everything already there is pretty much same thing we talked about with us last week now applies to them.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 critical things about this. Number one is emotionally, where is Wisconsin? And not so much with the transition from last week to this week. It's that you laid it on the line against Oregon a week ago at home, and now you've got to go on the road in some tricky situations where you've got to navigate your emotions. Then number two, but clearly behind number one, is how did you negotiate this week, right? Do you really believe in the message that your coach is sending? Because this game, it's a culture game. This isn't tactical. This is the classic tactical versus technical. Do you really want to be here, and are you riding with your coach? I think we'll get the answer to that one pretty early.
Got a couple of guys we're keeping an eye on with questionable tags coming in, including Will Pauling. They're terrific wide receiver.
Who drilled Nebraska a year ago, especially on third down.
I know you and I.
Find number 6, right?
How our feelings were towards him last year. I'm still shaking my head at the amount of targets that guy got against Nebraska. It wasn't quite Whop failure from Indiana a few years back, but it was close.
Nice pull.
You like that?
Pretty good.
It's pretty
You're
good.
like a walking Rolodex.
It's like 17 targets or something just ridiculous. And I think
and he makes the all-name team, too.
100%.
Yeah.
He absolutely
Good on you.
He absolutely blew up a parabolic mic right in front of me, too. That day specifically. On one of his 37
You're like
drag
a vault, man.
One of the 37 drag routes he ran that day.
Fort Benning.
Yeah.
Fort Benning. Let's go to. So it's not Benning in Georgia, Fort Benning. It's Fort Benning.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Let's roll with that.
Man.
Man, this took a turn. Where were we at? Oh, let's talk Tawi Walker.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nebraska's going to need a key on number 3 today. I think Wisconsin's offensive success is going to start and end with him today.
Yeah, I agree. And he's not even really a change of pace, but his cohort and Dupree, the young phenom, is equally as good. Walker's kind of the guy. But if I'm Nebraska, I'm going to make Wisconsin throw the ball over my head, especially if Pauling doesn't play. I have got to stop the run. Locke has thrown an interception in every game he's started. 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Don't let Wisconsin be even-handed. Stop the run and make them throw the ball over your head.
And to take that a step further, it was no secret Coach Rule's challenges corners this week.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't by accident to say we need you guys to go make plays.
100%. I think for them, it's a chance to answer the dinner bell, right? If you want to eat, the bell's ringing. Let's come see who wants to be fed, right?
I'm pretty hungry, too. We got some Chick-fil-A sandwiches that found their way to the studio, and sorry, young intern Camden, one of those will be eaten by me here in the next few minutes.
Oh, you know Camden's already in. He's usually first to go.
Yeah, he is. That's when you know the college, they're not bashful. You know, like now, you know, what come age, you know, it's you're nice, polite, oh, go ahead. You know, no, they do not care.
You know, and old easy breezy Super Russ, all he cares about is that everybody has enough for his crew later on. So as long as you don't overdo it, Super Russ and company should be okay.
We're not here to step on any toes. That's not what we want to do. Hey, Nebraska fans, some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. That sandwich is about to be in good hands here in a minute. We're going to step aside for a break. We'll come on back. Husker Game Day rolls along. Before we do that, though, let's get a check of the traffic. Here's Trooper Brett.
Good afternoon, Husker fans. Traffic is still flowing well towards the Capitol. Most notable slowdown we're seeing outside of typical game day stadium traffic is on I-80 westbound near the Platte River. So be mindful of your speed as you approach that area. Also, keep an eye out for a trooper assisting a motorist at mile marker 394 on I-80 eastbound. If you are coming into Lincoln from the east and are looking to avoid congestion, you can exit at 27th Street. And if you're driving into Lincoln from the west, consider taking Highway 77 southbound to Rosa Parks Way. Fans, game day takes teamwork on the field and on the road. Put your phone down and keep your focus on driving to help keep all fans safe. I'm Trooper Brett with the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network. This traffic report was brought to you by the NDOT.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
No matter what color you wear on game day or what color tractor you drive, there's one color Nebraskans trust to be a partner for life lived well. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska combines national power with Nebraska roots. Awarded the best health insurance experience in the heartland, Blue Cross delivers affordable, high-quality health plans for Medicare groups and individuals. Head to nebraskablue.com to find the coverage that's right for you. Team Blue says, go Big Red.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network. This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Sam, since this is your first Get Holiday Ready sales event, let me introduce you to the full lineup of Ford SUVs. Keep it festive, Morgan.
How fun!
That's Blake and Bailey. They're our Bronco experts.
Goat modes goes over any type of terrain.
And of course, Ford F-Series, best-selling trucks for 47 years. The Get Holiday Ready sales event.
Chills.
Get 1.9% APR for 60 months, plus no payments for up to 90 days and $1,000 bonus cash on a new F-150.
There's only a few minutes left before Mom gets home and Dad needs a win.
He's had a long day, Mac.
He certainly has. Will this All-Star deliver dinner on time, or will Takeout take the title?
Oh, look. He's changing up formation. What's he up to?
There's a snap. He's heading to the fridge. Something's happening.
He's going for... I can't believe it.
Dad's got a bottle of Dorothy Lynch, and he's done it. The chicken, the salad, the veggies. He could go all the way.
Incredible flavor. Unbelievably easy. That's how you win with Dorothy Lynch.
Gary's Quick Steak is 100% sirloin and cooks from frozen in minutes.
Hi, my name is Gary Rower. I developed America's fastest cooking Philly steak from my 2 cheesesteak restaurant chains, one of which became a top 100 chain in the country. Faster means more great tasting meals in minutes. I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it. My Quick Steak can be found in stores near you or buy online.
Look for Gary's Quick Steak at your local grocery and club stores.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
Like a great defense, you want the right coverage at the right time for your team. You'll find both with Elevate by Medica, your employer health plan built for Nebraska, offering lower costs, travel coverage, and access to more than 3,600 in-network doctors across the Cornhusker state. Affordable coverage and care close to home for squads of all sizes. You're not just covered, you're cared for. Learn more at medica.com.
We got your back. You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back to Husker Game Day. I'm Jessica Cootie, and it's time now to learn a little bit more about one of our great partners, CHS, here on the Huskers Radio Network. And we welcome in a Nebraska sales representative, Robert Juergens. Robert, thanks so much for being here with us.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time.
And before anybody asks, I already asked, you did some research, no relation to Cam Jurgens.
Yep, no relation to Cam. We were a great fan of his, even though we weren't related. We shared the last name, so we felt like we had a little connection there. So, yep.
That's great. Well, the Cenex brand has been a longtime supporter of the Huskers. For those that aren't familiar, tell us a little bit more about Cenex.
So Cenex energy brand of CHS has a deep-rooted history in the Midwest. For over 90 years, we've provided quality fuels through our locally owned convenience stores, with 90 located in the great state of Nebraska. Because we're locally owned and operated, we're committed to the communities where our employees and valued customers call home. By stopping at a local Cenex store, you are shopping and supporting your local community members. Every dollar spent stays in the community to help foster community connections.
Oh, that's great. How do these locally owned and operated locations support their local communities?
So the Cenex brand, in partnership with our local store owners, are committed to giving back to the local communities we serve. To date, Cenex has invested more than $500,000 in grants to support local community initiatives such as youth baseball field renovations, food shelters, local festivals, and school programs. This year, we are excited to continue our community give back program called the Hometown Throwdown.
All right, you got to tell us a little bit more about that. What is Hometown Throwdown?
So Hometown Throwdown is a contest which encourages individuals and organizations to showcase their community pride by sharing what makes their hometown festival unique. Qualifying festivals have a chance to win up to $100,000 to bring their hometown festival to the next level. So starting in January, listeners can submit their festival at CenexHometownThrowdown.com.
Oh, that's great. Well, what else is on the horizon for the Cenex brand?
So in addition to the Hometown Throwdown, Cenex is continuing to invest in upgrading our stores, both outside with new logos and lights. There's a new image out there, but also some stores are getting major upgrades on the inside to add new bathrooms, hot food options, expanded retail space, dedicated beer caves, and more. Each renovation focuses on what the community needs. The store owners can select the right in-store upgrades for their community. We also recently launched a cool new Cenex.com website that I encourage everyone to go check out.
All right, anything else we need to know?
So yeah, we as a whole, we appreciate the Husker support. To support our local Cenex, visit Cenex.com and submit your hometown festival at CenexHometownThrowdown.com starting in January. I'd also like to encourage our listeners to follow up with us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Awesome. Great stuff. Robert Jurgens, thank you so much for being here with us. And we also appreciate the great support of Cenex and CHS, the continued support of Husker Athletics. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and go Big Red.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, it's time now for this week's Game Changer.
This is the Game Changer.
Emmett Johnson the back, snap back. They give it off to Emmett. He stumbles and goes in.
Great
Touchdown,
balance.
Nebraska. Kept his balance, finds 6 points, and the Huskers back in the game with 3:35 to go.
Emmett Johnson, 5'11", 200-pound running back.
Two wideouts left, one tight to the formation of the near side. Straight back is Raiola. Has some time, throws in the middle, pass caught, splitting the defenders. Emmett Johnson to the 10, to the 5, and he is in there. Touchdown, Nebraska. Emmett Johnson makes a catch, a little short dump over the middle of the field, reach down the near sideline, and Nebraska right back within a point.
Sophomore, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
But what I loved about what Emmett did was Emmett caught the ball out of the backfield. He picked up blitzes, and then the first guy never tackled him. Like, don't let them tackle you. And even like an outside zone that he cuts back, he gets 9 yards because the first guy's never really tackling Emmett. And so Emmett deserves to keep playing. I mean, he was one of the guys we singled out there just because he just did so many good things.
And today's game changer, Emmett Johnson, the running back. He's really developed nicely and started to find his footing in this offense. We've talked a lot about running back rotation and carry split and all that. Starting to feel a lot more confident when 21's back there, DB.
Yeah.
Good number for a running back.
Yeah, he's better than I was at this particular stage of his career. But we said all along, it's either you're a feel guy or a rhythm guy. And with this offense and the way that offensive line is coming around, you probably need a rhythm guy. So maybe staying with it a little longer and a guy a little longer, even though you kind of preach committee, maybe just what the doctor ordered the Dana ordered.
Yeah. One thing I love about running backs that I think it's an underappreciated characteristic, and there was nobody better at this than Amir.
Our glowing personalities on radio?
Yeah.
Oh, darn it. That's not it.
We don't have enough of those. Running backs that are hard to hit.
Yeah.
And Amir was that guy.
Just don't give you all of them, right?
And you can get him down and, you can tackle him, but just hard to pop.
Yep.
And Emmett, I feel like, is one of those guys. And he's for some way always falling forward.
It's that crazy whirling dervish kind of corkscrew action that he's got. He just doesn't quite give you the two and the one squared up. And they're going to need a little bit of that today because Wisconsin's shown that they can be a little bit vulnerable giving up yards on the ground.
It's frustrating as a linebacker, as a safety, when you want to tee off on somebody and you just can't do it. And sometimes I can get you out of your routine.
It makes you a little tentative, right?
Exactly.
It's like, I can't get a clean shot on this guy. Let me make sure I get him corralled. And, man, that's music to a running back's or any offensive guy's ears, is when you can do the dictating.
No question about it. So, Emmett Johnson, he's our game changer today. We're actually going to call that our ground game report, brought to you by Brandt Industries. Make sure your ground game is up to speed with Brandt high-speed disc for a better field finish in fewer passes. We're going to step aside for another break. We'll wrap up the show. Damon and I, one more segment left before we hand it over to Greg Sharp and count down to kickoff. It's coming up next.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bringing almost 80 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They've built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing services in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. Committed to offering build-to-suit and specialized wealth advisory services, Bridges Trust prioritizes their clients' best interests to support the growth and preservation of legacies for future generations. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you.
Aw, thanks.
Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
You may have heard about Monolith, how right here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. How we'll soon be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. How we're investing hundreds of millions in multiple Nebraska facilities. You might have heard Monolith is changing the world. We're not. You are. Along with many other Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska made.
Being game day ready means bringing the die-hard passion, all in, all the time. And now, you can show your Husker pride everywhere you go. With the Husker Visa Debit Card, free with FNBO free checking. Gear up, game on, and give it up for the Big Red. Every time you pay, the Husker Visa Debit Card, only at FNBO, the Bank of Husker Nation. Bring it. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors that open doors.
How are you?
To growth and opportunity for each other and for our community.
That went really well.
For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere else. And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Join us at nebraskamed.com/careers. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Back one final time. This is our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show here on the Huskers Radio Network. Here in a few moments, the voice of the Huskers, Greg Sharp, will have countdown to kickoff for you as we inch closer to kick between the Badgers and the Cornhuskers. Final home game, Senior Day here at Memorial Stadium for the Big Red. Hard to believe we are already inching closer to the end of November in the calendar, and Black Friday on the road at Kinnick, and a night game next week for Nebraska finishes the regular season. Time now for our Weather Impact segment, brought to you by SOS Heating and Cooling. With fair prices, honest opinions, and longer warranties, they are the Omaha area's trustworthy company since 1950. Going to be 57 degrees, mostly sunny at Kick. We have stolen from the weather gods this year for football. My goodness.
Absolutely. Caught a ton of breaks, and we'll get this last good one out of the way because the forecast next week does not look so favorable when we get to Iowa City. So let's just hope we're one step closer to preparing for a bowl game while we're getting ready for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I feel like we've owed a few, though. We're owed, and let's be honest, football players, they like a little nip in the air.
A little bit. And, you know, Coach Rule thrives on chaos, and it'd be nice if it was of the weather variety this time around and not anything internal or bowl game talk. So it's coming. We'll just be patient with Mother Nature. She typically has the last laugh.
She does. Undefeated. Well, DB, you and I have talked from both sides on this deal. Interesting week for both teams. But when it comes time between the white lines, what are you looking at here in this one? What do you think is going to determine the outcome today?
Yeah, well, watching this one on film all week, if it's just about football and you strip away emotions, Nebraska is the better football team, in my opinion. I get it, 10 in a row for Wisconsin and only one since Nebraska's been in the Big Ten, but they look like the better team on paper. Does Nebraska believe that they are the better team? Three things that can go a long way in helping secure that. Number one, catch what you get your hands on. Locke's going to give you an opportunity at an interception-worthy ball or two. He's thrown one in every start. He'll give you one today. Make the most of it. Number two, start the ground game early. Wisconsin's been a little soft up front in terms of giving up yards on the ground. I think they're better on the back end, so play to your strengths, not theirs. Run the football. And then number three is get points in the red zone. When you get down close, be better in the red zone. Don't settle for field goals because it's not going to take a ton of points. Get as many as you can when you get down there.
Back to point number one. That was the frustration of last week. You got the pick six, but there could have easily been 3, if not more, picks for Nebraska's defense. Coach Rule echoed that after the game.
7 interception-worthy balls, according to Pro Football Focus.
Unbelievable. And I feel like if Nebraska gets 2 of those in the first quarter,
the game's drastically different.
They might.
They
pull
don't
him.
score. They don't score in the first half.
They're going to have decisions to make on his confidence is just rattled. And it wasn't that they weren't picks. It was that they ended up in receptions.
And big plays, 100% correct.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So I think that's a great point by you. Staying disciplined, to me, is another one. So I think when you look at Wisconsin, they're not an overly penalized team.
Fewest in the Big Ten, I believe. It's just 4 a game.
So Nebraska can't have a drastic margin there either. Yeah. I feel like we're going to talk about field position as we always do in this types of matchups with Nebraska. And to me, I'm going back to the middle 8 because that reared its head against USC too.
Great call.
Wisconsin against Oregon had the big start. Ducks kind of weathered the storm, came back and won, and Nebraska kind of had the same thing. So to me, who wrestles the rope on the tug of war harder in the middle of the game, to me, is going to go a long way in determining this one too.
I can't believe that I didn't think of that one because, well, I'm not as smart as you.
Well, I liked your drop picks one.
Oh, that's why we get along. We just share thoughts.
People are so mad at us right now for just complimenting each other for the last 2 hours.
I tell people, it's just like today when Nebraska, when they take the field, love always wins.
That's right.
Love where you're at, love your teammates, and love the opportunity.
Not your opponent so much because I don't think they love us too
much
either.
They don't count.
Yeah, they don't count. But yeah, it's going to be a good one today. I know it's going to be typical Nebraska-Wisconsin game, probably going to come down to the fourth quarter, probably going to come down to making a big play at the end, and we'll see if the Huskers are the team able to do that. And is it, Damon, that this is the one that gets us to the magic number?
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking about it.
Well, you and I have the opportunity to spend Christmas together.
That would be great.
Oh, that would be love.
That would be good. I'm sure our families would love that.
Yeah.
Us ditching Christmas to go hang out with each other. Maybe to watch some mayonnaise get dumped on Coach Rule. Who knows? Yeah. If we could only be so lucky. DB, appreciate you as always, my friend. Have a good call. And let's get a little rowdy up in the booth, huh? Let's get some celebrations going. That'd be good.
See you soon.
Okay. DB with us. Damon Benning, the Kodamac Husker Game Day Show. We are wrapping up. My thanks to everyone that was a part of this one. Thanks to Josh Hilkeman, Russ Brown, Camden Cohn. Also, thanks to Jessica Cootie for doing our Cornhusker Conversation fun one today with Ty and Nash. Also, thank you to Jacob Schrantz for handling our opposition segment as always. That's going to wrap us up. We are inching closer to kickoff, about 2 hours away, a little over 2 hours away from Nebraska's home finale, senior day here at Memorial Stadium. The Huskers trying to get one from the Badgers, something they have not been able to do in far too long. The voice of the Huskers, Greg Sharp, has you for the next hour. Countdown to kickoff coming up next.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official